Check, check. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I can hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. Welcome back to What's That White Line Trading.
The latest episode of What Is That White Line? Man, what a trade off of that white line there and a trade into it. But we will get into that in just a minute. But welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Coach Jay, been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experiences, maybe some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our audience. We thank you each and every day that you join us. We could not do the show without you. Shout out to all of you for being here. Let's get into it. As far as news goes, also let us know how you did it today. Are you up on the day, down on the day, anything that you learned from the day? I had a decent day overall. Could have been a better day, but that means that there's room for growth. U.S. ADP employment change came in at 42,000. Forecast was 30,000, so a lot better than expected. We are getting some jobs data. ADP is a private company, so although we are still in this government shutdown and in the longest ever government shutdown in history, we are still getting some data. And if we looked at the last couple of months, the ADP number has been the accurate one, right? We had that BLS revision of jobless claims a couple months ago, and the revised number was the original number that ADP put out. So maybe the labor market doing a little bit better than everyone did expect. Outside of that, not too much as far as plan numbers goes. We did have a S&P Services PMI and composite PMI come out 54.8. Forecast was 55.2. Composite was 54.6. Forecast was 54.9. Crude inventories, huge miss, but what's new there? And a nice trade in crude oil actually today. Shout out to Braden who traded it during fast markets. But anything you have on the news you want to talk about, Coach Paul?
Don't be so mean to crude oil. There's always opportunity there. Anyway, solid data. Putting confidence for, or maybe confidence to new buyers, or is it short covering? We'll cover that a little bit. But after yesterday's pretty solid down day, not unexpected, we would have a bounce. But big news headline, something about Supreme Court casts doubt on legality of Trump's global tariffs. That came out, about 25 minutes ago?
Yeah.
It seemed to take an initial bearish reaction. Other than that, there wasn't any. I mean, it was just a regular news trading day. I'm kind of enjoying the no big government numbers data set myself.
Clean price action.
It's very clean.
Clean price action. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo on your side, Coach Paul. Let me see if I can. I don't know if that's coming through on the chat or not, but it's probably not because should be good. All right. Let's talk about the charts then. Clean price action. Treasury Secretary Bessent also right after the close just said, I came away from the Supreme Court hearing on tariffs very optimistic. Very optimistic on the Supreme Court. Again, Supreme Court ruling whether or not those tariffs are constitutional, whether or not they are legal. Let's take a look at the quote board. 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts. And today to the downside, we had crude oil down 1.54%. Natural gas down 2.65%, and our biggest percentage mover to the downside, live cattle. Shout out to Coach Hoop, a market that we've been talking about being in a little bit of a trend. What's that white line? Looks like a target. That's on the daily. In cattle, down 3.18%. Did go limit down again today. For our biggest percentage mover to the downside. To the upside, we had soybean meal up 2.36%. I don't know the last time I looked at that chart, but what the hell? Wow, look at that. Wow, this thing's just. Why have we not?
It's soy meal?
That's a 20% move from the low of October.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's all politically motivated
Mm,
speculation. What do I mean by that? He's that's a reaction to a Chinese trade deal. No soybeans. They grow soybeans mainly for meal.
yeah.
Meal is a feed for livestock,
Mm,
and so you could probably see the bottom with that almost to the day of that announcement.
hmm, interesting. That is a 20% rally from those
Yeah.
lows. And it looks like it might have a little bit more room to go. Okay. Our goal as traders is to identify our opportunity and see how we can take advantage of those opportunities. Are we going to have any soybean meal traders in at the buzzer? That's a trending market if I ever seen one. Micro Bitcoin up 2.98% on the day after trading below 100,000. We knew it. We talked about it yesterday. That 100,000 level is not going to be an easy one to break. 3% up from there. And micro Ethereum futures, our biggest percentage mover to the upside. What is that white line? That is on the daily. That is the daily 200 moving average. Could not close below. Micro Ethereum was down 11% yesterday. Nice little relief bounce from there. Up 6.99% on the day. Uh, Coach Paul, that 200 moving average is just showing up everywhere,
Yep.
literally
Yep.
everywhere.
Wow. And, it's just showed that the change of ownership
Mm.
from remember it was about 2 months ago. There was a big whale switched from Bitcoin to
Ethereum, yeah.
Ethereum.
Mhm.
So it seems that even on this break, that Ethereum's a little bit stronger from an arbitrage point of view.
Yeah,
Um, Now, what if they both close under the 200?
crypto ice age, potentially.
No, you look at it at a different point of view. I'm not, I mean, it's heavy
Mhm.
coming into the end of the year. Like we said, it's still lower. We had a nice bounce off of what 11% down day.
In Ethereum yesterday, yep.
You just gotta love crypto.
Yeah, yeah.
If there was 11% down day,
In
and
the equities, oh my god, you wouldn't hear the end of it. You or
I
in gold
lived
or something
that
like that?
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be like, "Oh, it's history." It's like, "Oh, 11%, whatever. We're back up 7% the next day. Who cares?" It is what it is. We've been through this before. But yeah, pretty big move on both sides. First to the downside, and then not surprising to see a little bit of a reflexive bounce, especially off that 200 daily moving average in Ethereum. To talk about our big four, we had crude oil down 1.5% today. We'll talk about crude. Uh, the S&P up 0.36% on the day. Gold up 0.85% on the day, and the Nasdaq up 0.6% on the day. I'm gonna pull up an S&P chart. Start with the daily, Coach Paul. What are we seeing here?
Holding the 20-day moving average for the second day in a row. Had a nice little bounce off of it early on the opening, but this sets up. That's off the monster candle. Um, setting, we're at a fork in the road.
Yep.
It can either take off from here and make new contract highs relatively quickly, or it can continue to downward. That 20 moving average is going to be really big here. Um, I would, maybe we have a bigger rally tomorrow, but it really didn't hold well at the end of the day.
No, it
So
didn't. Uh,
hang it.
it,
Go ahead.
no, it didn't hold at all. I was doing a VIP meeting with Hogue, and we were watching, and we're like, hey, is this a healthy pullback? What's going on here in this market? We closed back inside the initial balance, inside that first hour range. That was a pretty, it looked really good. Like before the last hour of the day, it looked like okay, we were less than 1.5% off the all-time high going into a day where we held the 220 moving average on the daily. but that close was not very convincing. See what happens the rest of the week.
Yep. One thing we know, we don't know.
The market should be moving. We know that. We know that much. Market should be moving. Let's take a look, and I'm going to mark out this 20 moving average, a 20-day moving average, because that's kind of our line in the sand right now. Again, we tested it yesterday. We traded below it today. Interesting spot. 67.87 is that price. Coach Hoop says bonds are in trouble. Let's take a look now at the 30-minute chart. And what is that white line?
The high of the day.
The literal high of the day in the S&P. Let's take a look here. So I marked out that 20-day moving average here. We're going to attach a VWAP. And last night, this is urgency. If you are a new viewer and you're wondering what we're saying when we say urgency, we had the first 30-minute candle range. Pretty much in the next one or two candles, we're seeing price leave the range to the downside and VWAP volume leave the range as well. That was a pretty nice sell-off. I don't know if anyone caught this move, but we were trading inside the tariff tantrum candle, the October tariff candle. Trading inside that range, we rejected right at the high of it. We talked about during the opening call and during At the Buzzer yesterday that the high of this candle and how the market responds here is going to say a lot about whatever that next move is. Do we accept price back inside where all this major selling came in under that 20-day moving average? And for a while, it looked like we were going to, Coach Paul. It looked like we were just going to trade right through it. And I don't know if news or something came out, but we found some buyers.
Well, that move under the 20-day moving average came in an evening U.S. evening session. What do I mean? It's light volume. So that light volume couldn't sustain the direction, and we had a beautiful pop from there.
Yeah.
So in that, by the time we opened up overnight, we just played around above and below that 20-day moving average. But coming into the day, we had commercial, to me, we had professional buying, holding the 20-day moving average, or at least buying value after yesterday's decent sell-off. Interesting, if we put a volume point of control for last night and then sync it up to the 8 o'clock half-hour bar.
There's your developing volume point of control from the overnight session.
Now, what happened this morning in the first few minutes? Well, we had that developing point of control on volume.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Session VWAP, we're above it. All right. Well, we won't. There was a daily pivot. It was above it. It's set up really nice from a volume point of view.
Yep.
At the price point of view, we had the break, but the volume point of control, VWAP being above VWAP. That when I see that, I'm just not willing to get short there.
Yeah.
Or just read what the opening range does, and then I'm going to hand it off to you.
Awesome stuff. So that 3-minute opening range we have here, we see it all the time, right? On the open last night is what we'll call urgency to the downside, right? I know we looked at a 30-minute candle, but in the first 3 minutes of the open last night for the Globex session, we had urgency. Give me 1 second. Let me take this point of control, this volume profile off of here. We can see VWAP leaving this range in the first 3 minutes. This is flow that you don't really want to fight. But back to what Coach Paul was just saying here, we have the overnight inventory, You hear Hogue and I, when we're on the opening call, we say overnight inventory is either short or long. In this case, overnight inventory was short at one point and then reconciled that overnight inventory. They were short and then probably covered. And now where we're opening up, if you look at this developing point of control from the overnight session, we look below it price wise. And this is where we say price is an advertising tool. Price looked below, but volume for the New York session, which is this red line here, never left that opening range to the downside. We came down, checked the full session view up, and markets are going to go one of three directions: up, down, or sideways. And in this case, after that sell off that we had yesterday that we talked about wasn't really on anything, right? We didn't really get a headline or anything like that. Yeah, Palantir earnings weren't great, but I don't know that there was much of a reason to sell off the way we did. Like you said, Coach Paul, when we reject here, and we talked about this during the opening call as well. Shout out to Amanda, looking for a potential short up near the 68.20s. What that means, though, and we'll take a look at the Nasdaq as well, is that where we're opening up, there's a potential 30-point trade, 40-point trade before a level of contention, and we can see in that zone, right? And again, shout out to Amanda. It's not a coincidence that we see some consolidation here, right? Because the market has to make a decision about whether or not it's going to go higher. I know I was looking at a 30-minute candle from yesterday. This one here, we'll make that a different color. What's that red line on my chart? That red line is anchored view up. Anchored view up. Let's take a look at this 30-minute candle from yesterday. Right, that's kind of where we consolidated for a little while. That probably looks insane, but you guys get what I'm saying. Right, we trade up to one of the highest volume candles of the day, and we spend a lot of time in there. And not surprisingly, we close inside that range. So, really nice trade here. Like you said, Coach Paul, I don't know that I want to get short when the volume for the day comes in. Right, the highest volume of the day is going to be that New York session. I don't know that I want to get short if that volume can't take out the overnight price action,
Right.
because if they're going to continue the trend, go ahead, sell it. But we that overnight short was, like you said, on lower volume, less potential to pull that trade, to put pull the market lower. We got some questions here. That red line again on my chart is anchored view up. Dante says, so when you guys pull up that prior day point of control, is it from the Globex Open or always from New York Open? So what we've been doing here is similar to the way we were anchoring VWAP to the overnight open, which is 6 p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to Coach Paul on this one. Pulling a not a volume profile, and you can do volume profile from the prior day, right? You can do this one. But what we've been doing is volume profile from, if I'm only trading regular trading hours, volume profile from the overnight session. So 6 p.m. Eastern time to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then seeing how regular trading hours responds to that overnight inventory. Right? A lot of volume profile traders will use the prior day volume profile, which there's a ton of information there as well. But this developing point of control, Coach Paul, for what's going to happen today, shout out to you on that one.
Oh, thank you. And I'd really like it is like how did that volume of move overnight to affect decision making into the opening in the U.S.
Mhm.
I mean, it just gives some more information. And this one, two things. Like I said, it developed. It got. If we look at the developing point of control, we had that big sell off, and then it flattened out.
Yep.
Then it started stair stepping higher
It
above
jumped up the
the
stairs.
session VWAP. Let's remove all the magic. It was bought.
Right.
Just bring it down to a plus sign. And so if I'm swimming against the stream
Mm.
if I'm selling it.
Right.
But if I don't just buy it blindly, I looked at the first 3 minute, look for a breakout
Mm.
where I can take some smart risk
Measured risk.
and measured risk.
Yep.
Now today we got it, but that's some of the things that I look at, and I'm working with you on volume. Using volume, price, and time, you get a fuller idea of what the composite users of the market are at and in results. But as we move forward, what target did we have on at least on a half hour?
For me, I know the initial target was 68.20s. And then we talked about from there, if we continue to see price push above, and not just price, but volume, if we continue to see volume push above 68.20s, then the white line has to be the target. And we didn't really see that VWAP get above there, but we consolidated so long around here. We came back, tested, and I'll make this red again. We tested the New York session VWAP a couple of times now, right? Passing the baton. Overnight session passes it to New York. What are you guys going to do with it? We push up into these 68.30s, hold that VWAP. And I want to give a shout out to Hogue. He was talking about something, Coach Paul, a TWAP, and we won't get too deep into it, but he noticed that at the end, the last 5 minutes of every half an hour, there was just somebody coming in and just placing a bunch of buy orders. And he said, Hogue, and this is where you're assessing market information. And I talked to Hogue about this. We had a failed upside auction, right? Talking about initial balance talk, right? We hear Hogue mention that all the time. We had the first hour establish its range, and then we closed the next 30-minute candle inside that range, right? So in market profile speak, that's technically a failed upside auction, and the idea would be to short it to go back through it. But paying attention to market generated information, Hogue reading the volume, he said, hey, you know what? I know it's a failed upside auction, but somebody's trying to close this higher, right? And that's just a volume read, right? I can think the market's doing one thing, but if the market is doing something else, and in reading that volume and seeing those buy orders come in, again, shout out to Hogue for noticing that. That gave us a really nice push higher right into that white line.
And yeah, it was a nice call. Someone, and by the way, I like algorithms. You're right. In the last 5 minutes of a half hour bar, or on the top of the hour or the bottom of the hour, a lot of
Mhm.
algos are timed for that.
Yep.
So they start loading up their orders.
Mhm.
Um, see, that's an old trader's recognition because
Oh yeah.
you would, as a floor broker, you're always managing your deck, and all of a sudden you notice one person or one entity does this at a certain time.
Yeah.
So, um, but there was, I think that from yesterday, we had a big hard break.
Mhm.
I wonder what the stats are for a hard break for a rally the next day. I don't know. But for someone out there, there's probably an edge somewhere in that. Because
Yeah.
the strength came out this opening, and it, like Hogue was saying, but they're reloading the deck here. A day, on a day after a break we had yesterday. Now you have, at first you had fragmented. The probability is we could probably curl up and have a bounce. But as the day goes on and you get more information, and especially on volume, you can trade with more confidence that it's going to run.
Yep. Absolutely. Uh, there's a question from Sodbuster. Close back in that range. Does that give any clues for tomorrow? Somewhat, maybe. That what gives me more of a clue for tomorrow is this rejection off the 200 moving average. Uh, Buyers didn't want it higher, and we've seen that's now the second rejection in this week that we've had right at that 200 moving average, uh, and it is starting to trend lower. I just want to watch the market's reaction to that. Closing back inside the initial balance range, yeah, that is just a sign of weakness. Um, 6808, 6806 is still the price that I'm looking at the downside. Does the market accept below that? 6806, that's the high of that October 10th candle. Quick look at the Nasdaq, and shout out to Forex Frank in the chat. It says kind of sad if people are sitting in front of trading charts all day and night. You got to get away from it sometime. Absolutely, could not agree more. Spend some time away from the charts. It might seem like we're always here. I might seem like I'm always here on Topstep TV, but I'm actually only on Topstep TV 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day. Seems like a lot
No.
more. It seems like 24/7, but it's really only 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day. I'll trade for an hour or two outside of that, and then, like you said, go do something off the charts. So I definitely agree with you there. Eloy Cabrera, shout out to you. All right. The NASDAQ, Coach Paul, anything you got on the NASDAQ real quick? Holding at 20 also.
Very much like the S&P.
Yeah.
Once again, looking at that, it's got a good chance of holding. I still
Looks stronger.
It looks stronger, and I don't like getting short equities too often. But we're holding here support on a break. This is a buy the dip moment if you're so inclined. But for me, the dip to turn is in the half hour, closed with some volume above the 200.
Yep. 100%. Bullet Trader says, oh no, it's Pie Trades. Will the selling continue in Globex as we rejected previous day point of control? Again, it's been weirdly accurate lately. Patterns are patterns until they break. So maybe. Can't say for sure, but I know one thing: the volume is going to tell us. The volume is going to tell me. Question for Coach Paul: the SMA master. Look at the difference between the 200-day EMA versus the SMA on ES. So, let's see. Doo-doo-doo. 200 looks the same.
Did you put the EMA?
Yeah. The blue one is the EMA. I'm pretty sure it's what I did. Hold on one second. Let's just go to exponential moving average. There we go. Let's use the right indicator. All right. Put this on the 200. Okay, there you go. I don't know why that did that, but the blue one is and he said the daily. Coach Hoop says I'm a believer. What was the question, Coach Hoop? I see the difference. We do see the difference here. Yeah.
Now,
why choose one over the other?
I don't believe either one's correct. It's how you use it.
Yeah.
I did the back testing in 2019, and I went back 10 years. And it was about a 1.5% difference in the results. So, as the Leonard Skinner song goes, I'm a simple kind of man. So, why make it any more harder than it is? But yeah, whatever you do, be consistent.
Yep. Be consistent. What is nice is, I'm sure somebody has a strategy. I'm pretty sure Coach Robert talked about this before, but the zone inside, in between the middle of the two, consolidation zone, I'm sure there's a trading strategy on that. There are 50 billion trading strategies. So
does it have an edge, and can you execute it?
I mean,
it's really what it all comes down to.
I do like the fact that I see the market consolidating in the middle of this 20 and in the middle of this exponential, but that could also just be a very cherry picked example. Does that happen enough? No. Maybe. Who knows? All right, let's take a look at gold. Unless you got anything else on the equities.
What? Oh, no, we have to look at the cousins.
Here is the Russell, closed below the
Still
50-day moving average yesterday.
still lagging hard. Alright, nothing. How about the rich cousin, Dow? Yeah.
Holding up. Holding up the best out of all four?
It's really kinda, yeah. Looks like it.
Holding up the best out of all four.
Is that safety? I don't know. Well,
Right.
we'll see what tomorrow brings.
We shall see. Let's take a look then at gold on the daily. Are we in at the beginning of another 3-month consolidation here? What are you seeing on the daily, Coach Paul?
I see balance.
Yep.
We've talked about the possibility of going sideways. Well, this
It's happening.
possibility is playing out. And that VWAP from the breakout would turn out to be better than a moving average, right?
Yeah.
Because it has volume. I still think we're going to go sideways into that 50-day moving average.
Catches up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been catching up every day. It's at 38.85 right now. And if you're wondering where this VWAP is attached to, that is September 2nd on the daily candle. That was the candle that broke us out of that 3-month consolidation that we were in gold. And it's been holding as a support so far. 39.50 is that price and whole number level. Not too surprising to not see a flood of selling below that. But yeah, it's holding up. It's holding up, but that is the low of our consolidation here.
yeah.
3 months,
So, oh man,
beginning of the year, maybe.
it could be. Let's look at the EMA on the gold. You still have it on that chart?
The blue one is the blue one is the EMA. The white one is the SMA.
Uh,
Let's go down to a 30.
no.
Let's
Oh
take
God.
spaghetti.
Oh, I don't ever want to see that again.
Oh, what did I just do? All right, here's a
All right.
30.
Now, to me, it just seems to be right. Just a visual here. It plays around the EMA a lot,
Mm,
a lot
yeah,
less on the SMA. That's probably where I am. There was a slight edge towards the SMA. Now, what is the difference for those of you who are pondering it before you go to ask the interwebs?
Chatty G.
Um, yeah, Chatty G. Here's it. Just some the EMA gives more weight to the last, I think, 10 bars or
Okay,
last 10% of bars. The
got you.
latest data gets weighed more. It's a simple calculation, doesn't weight anything or give credence to the first or the last. It's just simple math.
Simple math. Simple math. All right, there we go. That is gold. Took a look under the prior day low, and we talked about this one during the opening call. Um, you know, because we've been in this range bound kind of market. We saw this, uh, check below the prior day low. No volume went with it. It's a pretty nice trade to the upside if you're able to catch
Yeah,
any of this in gold. By the time we came in for the New York session, it's already a little late in the move, if you will, but a couple of nice tests of VWAP on the way up to that 4,000 level. The question is going into tomorrow, do we see price and volume trade above that 200 moving average? I know for slow markets tonight, that is going to be what I am looking for. How does the market respond price and volume wise to this 200 moving average? Not even price wise, more so volume wise. Do we get volume above the 200? If not, that is a nice rejection zone, maybe looking to fall right back into the range. Coach Hoop says, hit the like for our coaches. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate you being here. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
What does it look like from Shanghai Open?
Shanghai Open, which is now 8 p.m. Eastern Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, we did change our clocks. So, what we were normally looking for as far as a spike of volume goes at 9 p.m. Eastern is now happening an hour earlier. Here is the Shanghai Session Open and VWAP attached to it. A little chop to begin, but that might have faked you out right here.
Well,
There you go. Shanghai 30.
yeah, the 30, which at night, and this night here, night US,
Yeah,
just to make sure.
right.
That is not surprising. So if that pattern remains the same, let's watch the first half hour after Shanghai today, see if we get selling and go to the bottom of the range. And we do this till the end of the year.
I mean,
Wou-
I
Wouldn't that be convenient?
I don't know if I hate that, right? $70 range, short it at the high, buy it at the low, rinse, repeat. And hey, I don't know if I hate that. We've seen it for 3 months, and it was actually still one of the better trading markets in that 3-month consolidation. We got a question here, strategy question, from EAFA in the chat. I think that's a new name. I don't know if I've seen that one. I've been scalping gold with a 21 EMA high-low band on 1 minute. Makes it easy to follow directional moves and hitting it out of the park last 2 weeks. I know you guys aren't short-term scalpers, but I'd like your opinion on how that band looks for trading. Why don't we just throw it on here? Maybe we might learn something new right now. Bring us your trade strategies, and we'll talk about them. Hold on
That's
one
an
second.
SMA.
Is it?
I think it, but there we go. I said that. Yeah.
Oh no, it was the smoothing line. The smoothing line. I don't have the smoothing
Oh,
line on there.
all right.
21. Let's make this one yellow. Nope, I already got a yellow. Let's make it pink. All right, and now we got to change one to the high and one to the, and what I'm gonna say before I even know what this looks like is if it helps you repeatedly make trading decisions, keep using it. But let's take a look at the 1 minute. Is this feasible? So which one is the high? The pink line is the high. The blue line is the low. Anything you're getting from there, Coach Paul? Did he freeze? He's just
No,
in deep thought.
I'm actually just looking. I don't see anything that jumps out.
Yeah.
Um, but
You know what
with
yeah, go ahead, Coach
with
Paul.
the 200, when it gets above it, but I need more information.
You know what I've seen Coach Robert do is instead of using the source as high low, he's used open and close. And I'm not trying to change anyone's strategy, but I think this is interesting, right? So we're gonna make the blue one the open, and we're gonna make the pink one the close. And
Wow.
when pink is above blue, that means that candles are the closes are higher. The closes are getting higher, the opens are getting higher, right? When pink closes below blue or starts trading below blue, that means the closes are lower and the opens are getting lower as well, right? The closes are lower than the opens, right? So once we get clear distinction between the two, like this, then that means every close is lower than an open, right? And maybe you could scalp that way, but trade
Hmm.
what makes sense to you. Trade what makes
So
sense to you.
on those rips, shout
Like
out to rips.
shout out to Rips.
So we have right above your head, we have red or pink going above blue.
Right here.
Yeah, even before that. Like,
So
okay, where does it turn? I'd actually like to see the differential on the bottom where it goes plus minus. But here, red was on the bottom. It turns and it starts leading. Oh. So the way I would look until it and hold it until it flips.
Right.
So kind of a momentum scalping.
Yeah. Uh,
I'd,
Irv's
I'd
design
have
says,
to see it in extended chop zones.
yeah. I'm trying to think. Would this like look so like on a 5 minute here? This is just chop, right? Overlap, 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 and you can see the price action chop. But once you start to see that clear distinction between the two, and maybe the idea is you don't need to, and people, say lagging indicators, whatever, everything's a lagging indicator, right? Unless you're sitting next to the person that's placing the trade, everything's a lagging indicator. But in this case, if the idea is I'm going to wait for separation and I don't need to catch the low of this move, this is confirmation. And now I can get in long maybe somewhere up here. And I've said this before, but we don't need to catch, the tops and the bottoms of the moves aren't meant for us. That could be a nice trade there. But again, 50 million different ways to trade the markets. If you found that scalping this works for you, like I could see this band right here, right? Pink below blue. Once they cross, we get a retest of the two. They don't cross back over. That's a hell of a trade right there. If you can, honestly, you can establish rules for any trading strategy, Coach Paul, and make it work.
Well, then you have to figure out how to size it.
Right.
What's
Correct.
what's your risk consistently?
Yeah.
Or risk divided by number of trades. Looks promising in that little piece there, but with any system I look at, how long does it go into a chop? And
Yeah.
it might work through chop, but now how long can you be patient enough to get through the chop zone?
Yep.
But you're on to something. Continue to do it, but keep some data on it. Also, journal it, your observations.
100%. 100%. Good stuff here, though. Yeah, I could see pink below blue, short it. If only it
Or at
was
least
that
get
easy.
out.
Or at least get out, right? If only it was that easy. All right. Let's see. Monica says that's a great saying. The tops and bottoms of the market aren't meant for us, unless, of course, you're trading the S&P and you know where that white line is. That one was meant for us twice this week. That's meant for just us here though at the buzzer. No one else.
Yes, it's a
All right.
secret.
It's our secret. Let's take a look at silver. We got a request for silver here. I'm going to take these baby shower moving averages off my chart here. That was hilarious to me. What do you?
Is it a buy or a sell? Is it a
Is it a boy
reveal
or a
party?
girl? Right. What are we looking at in silver, Coach Paul? Pretty much the same as
All
gold
right.
here.
Oh, I thought we were looking at gold.
Looks very similar.
It's very similar. In this one, it looks a little heavier, but it's still holding the 50-day moving average. We're in that range between the 20 and the 50, which we're very, one of the things we don't talk about a lot, but something to look at, the distance between the moving averages. Now,
Yes.
in a strong rally or break or a big trend, they get torn apart. In chop, they collapse together, like we've been seeing in crude. And right here, this market is resting.
Mm-hmm.
It had some heavy selling on volume. Those are big volume days. But holding the 50, we could go here sideways for another month or two. Kind of very much like the gold.
Yeah.
But I
Looks
don't
very
think it's
similar.
given up. It hasn't given up the ghost. We had some classic profit taking. Now, what's that white line? Is that the 30-minute?
That is the 30-minute chart, 200 moving average there on the 30-minute, the 20 getting ready to cross over that 50, or at least try to.
That's promising, but we don't have volume over that 200. We have just price.
Just price for now. Yep. What Coach Paul is talking about there is we tested that 200 moving average, but if we look at where VWAP was, that's down at 47,565. So this is a great initial attempt from buyers here, but could they just be buyers that are covering shorts, right? In order for us to trade above there, we need to see some volume trade above there as well. Not surprised to see a little bit of a rejection in this area.
Yeah. Now tonight, when we start, what's going to be interesting to watch silver is we're going to have VWAP right around the 200.
Yes, we are.
And it'll give a clue as to what direction it could move, and have an extension. So
Very, very similar to gold here, right? Where
Yep.
wherever we're opening up is we're likely to, and okay, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but we're likely to get a test of that 200 moving average. A lot of one of the things that we like to do is, okay, whatever the candle is that tested initially, what does volume say from that point, and then go from there. Kind of look at that as an opening range, but interesting stuff in the metal markets for sure. Let's take a look then at.
Gotta give a shout out to Billy. Need yellow over white or Uno reverse.
There you go.
Very good.
Master Hernan, I see your question about NASDAQ. We'll get back to that in just a minute. But let's take a look, Coach Paul, your favorite market, crude oil. I'm handing this one to you. What do we got?
Well, let me ask you, what's the trend?
It's to the downside right now, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
A soft downtrend.
Yep.
What I defined by it can't close above the 200, the 20 and the 50 are under. It can't sustain a rally. We had that. It's just slipping or bleeding. But interesting, where did it go to?
20-day moving average, 59.50 is that exact price. The low of the day, 59.52. So right there to that 20-day moving average.
And that 20-day moving average is sloping down. But to gain some momentum, we'd have to close below it.
Yep.
And we're finding support. 1, 2, 3, the fourth time in the last week.
Yep.
So now let's look at today's action.
A little back and forth here. Again, shout out to Braden, who did catch a very, very nice short here. He tried to take it twice. And crude oil is just a difficult market sometimes to day trade. But he stuck with the initial analysis and eventually got short. 20 moving average, 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. Another example of a market that advertises price above, but no volume goes above. Now, does that mean I just get short up here? Maybe you could, because crude has been in this range and $61 has been a nice level of rejection. But if I'm long here, which you might have had a decent reason to get long above that 200, when volume doesn't go with you, what happens eventually? Price comes back to it, and then, who knows from there. But what are you seeing here, Coach Paul?
Boy, you just hit something. Price and volume are get separated.
Yep.
In other words, it's in balance with a downside bias. There's no big imbalance in this market. And you can see that by this action. You said we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different moves today. That's tough.
Yeah.
Acknowledged.
But if we eliminate the buy side and just find places where we can sell leaning against VWAP, it made it easier, or vice versa on the buy side. When I see a market like this in a market, and we've been saying this about crude, is you can really get hurt if you're trying to trade both sides of a market like this.
Yeah.
I'll ask the crowd, you ever get caught in one of those? You get short early.
Spin cycle.
The spin cycle repeats ad infinitum.
Yep.
And there goes, whoops. there goes another combine. Um, so if you're trading crude, my suggestion is just look to buy it or sell it. Don't look to do both.
Agreed. Agreed. Infinite Fracture is asking, what did gold do before market close? Yeah, I see a little bit of selling coming in here to gold. We went over gold. Right now, it's just kind of sitting under the 200 moving average on the 30-minute. You know, I'm going to wait for market open or Shanghai open to see how the market responds to 4,002. We did just see in the S&P, though, and I'm just going to mark this out on my charts. Let's go to Jack's 1 second chart here. Right before that close, 1,400 contracts traded in a second in the S&P right before the close. That range, 68.27 to 68.28. Just keep that marked out on your charts. And anything we say here is for educational purposes only, not any type of trading or investment advice. But that was 1,400 contracts traded in a second, negative 98% delta, which means that was a lot of market order selling that came in there. Just watch that price.
What time did that happen?
What time was that? That was at 4:59 and 23 seconds Eastern time.
So right at the close.
Right at the close.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. We went over our big four. Anything else you got on crude oil, Coach Paul?
No.
Gotcha.
No. I just
there you go. It was a nice trade, though. It was a nice trade. Any other markets we want to talk about?
Oh, well, we have to talk about natural gas.
Yes, we do. Natural gas on the daily. What do we have here?
Pull back. Inside yesterday's range. So we've had this 3-day, 4-day nice rally, and now we're taking a rest here. Probably under the 200 and a half hour. By the way, we're still under the 200 moving average on the daily.
Yes, we are.
It still has pressure. So, big thing, we're inside yesterday's range. Taking a break, but volume, according to VWAP. So we had a good buying in the U.S. market, but VWAP really kind of was flat.
Yeah.
Or it never took out the opening range from last night.
No, it didn't.
But we're still above the 200 moving average, and it's moving higher. So if we're going to get a buy, could be tomorrow morning. Otherwise, this could turn around and double right back down. So I think we're going to get what's tomorrow. It's Thursday already. What the?
Yeah, flying by.
Is it the time change?
It could be. It could be. If you're asking why I marked out this candle here, just look at where we rejected, right? This was the highest volume candle from yesterday on the 30-minute, and it's right around the close, but it's not always the highest volume, right? Sometimes we see higher volume candles at other times, right? But this is 2 p.m. Eastern time, the 30-minute candle. Just some of the, like identifying targets or supply and demand areas, to me, one of the easiest ways is just to look for where that highest volume candle was on a prior day and then see how the market responds to it. All right, you could do this a couple different ways, but that was yesterday's. Rejected right around 50% of it. Volume for the day did not trade higher, and I wonder, you know what? I'm gonna pull up a volume profile. I wonder if that ended up being what was volume point of control for the day. Nope. For yesterday. No, it was not. Have we checked cattle? We took a quick look at it. When are these prices going to reflect in the grocery store?
Oh, don't hold your breath. No, when are
2
they
days in
going
a
to
row now.
remember, your grocery store holds, um, meat for what? Maybe a week?
Mm,
Maybe a
yep.
week, hopefully less. But or frozen. So it'll probably take about a month for it to really reflect in your grocery bill because it has to move down the chain or it has to come from Argentina. Um, so at least a month, I would say.
Good. And by that time, we'll probably be making all-time highs again. We have urgency. Urgency. Shout out to the bullet trader says I traded cattle today, was super clean to the downside. Yeah, I would say so. That is the definition of urgency. We got it 2 days in a row now. Markets making limit down moves and held view up the entire time. Coach Paul, I've heard you say this a bunch of time about the ag markets, but these are not speculator markets, right? These are
Right.
uh, uh,
But
there are actual producers and end users of the product. So there's not a lot of games going on. It's, you know, more often than that, probably a hedge for somebody trading in the cash market or actually owning cattle. Uh, so not a lot of BS.
there is not a, well, at least cattle less. Um, it's clean. So
Yep.
what do we mean by that? What is the biggest speculative market in futures?
NASDAQ,
Nasdaq. Everybody,
equities.
we tell everybody wants to trade it.
Yep.
So then you hear people calling it all kinds of B's and H's because it doesn't act right. It does, it's slippery. Well,
Yeah.
it's slippery because there's a lot of speculation or retail trading going on.
Mm.
So ask yourself, when's the last time you walked into a bar a bar or you're at a party and someone goes, "Do you see cattle last week?"
Right.
And I don't see the influencers who are got got short cattle.
Yeah.
It's not speculative. So it actually is cleaner. It doesn't have a lot of noise. It's mostly signal. So
It's a
that can
great
be
point.
now with that said, I wish they had
Mini cows.
little mini cows because it's expensive to trade right now.
$10 a tick.
And
$10 a tick. And this is a huge move. This is, let me measure this actually. Got another chart up over here. That move in cattle on a one lot. Let's say you caught the opening range breakout to the downside. I'm looking at a 3 minute on a one lot. That is to the low, a $2,900 move. Great if you're on the right side of it, but if you're on the wrong side,
well, if you're on the wrong side and you lost $2,900 trading cattle, or you have a $3,000 account and you lost 2,900 trading Nasdaq,
right?
it's not that either the market doesn't belong to you. You're not. You're
Yeah.
gambling.
Uh,
So it's all
Tali has a
relative.
Tali has a good question. What is your risk on this trade? It would be, and depending on how you take it, it could be. And this is the 3 minute. I've also heard you say, Coach Paul, that in the ags, look at a shorter time frame because again, they're not playing games, right? So maybe you even use a 1 minute, but let's say we use a 3 minute, right? Where's the risk go? I get short. Let's say I get short on the close. I wait for a candle close outside the range. Risk could go 2 ATRs, which at that point was about right there. 2 ATR risk based on Coach Paul's suggestion. My entry is at 20. Let's say I don't get the perfect entry. Let's say I get somewhere down here. Uh, that risk is $500 on a one lot.
Yeah.
2 ATR risk.
So that's how volatile or how much that contract is.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like much. This is a 3-minute chart.
Yep. Uh,
Or
yeah,
we
it's
could
a.
look at the 1 minute.
I kind of like that idea, especially if it's a market that's not going to play games, like you said. No, not a lot of speculation. Let's go. Open the farm doors and let's get busy. Time to time to trade. Take the breakout. Stop goes on the other side of the opening range. That is closer to a $250 risk. If you go two ATRs, that is about $250. And I'm curious.
I can almost guarantee you that it has urgency.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Um, there it is. But the bullet traders took this trade in the chat. Can you let us know what were your prices? What was your risk on this trade? Right, you identified the urgency, and this is where we say identify opportunity, take advantage of the opportunities. We've identified, and shout out to Coach Hoop, shout out to Coach Paul, and what we do here at the Buzzer every day. We've identified that this is a market that has the potential to trend. Um, shout out, I didn't trade this today. Shout out to the traders in the chat taking free information and making real money off of it. But what was your trade? Because I didn't even take it. This is where I want to invite people onto the show to come talk about using some of the strategies that we talk about every day. Uh, yeah, in chat, that was crazy. I don't know why I said that. Um, that was pretty crazy.
It's the full moon that's out.
Yeah, I guess so. But beautiful trade here. Beautiful trade opportunity here. Just waiting for the bullet traders to respond from there. I think we got to most of the questions that we had, but really nice trade there in cattle. Coach Paul, any other markets you want to talk about?
Oh, no, really. We did a nice cover today. Let's see what we talked about Bitcoin. Let's see it on a daily. Did we go over earlier?
We briefly talked about it. Back, we're still under that 200-day moving average. We tested the 100,000s, bounced off of it. Kind of a relief bounce here. This significant candle close under that 200 is again, that's the first time since April.
Yeah.
Looks kind of similar to April.
You know it hasn't happened? When's the last time the 20 crossed under the 200?
Great question. September 2024.
That was a very brief time.
Mm.
Hmm. How about before that? Oh,
We don't have data.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's watch for that. But still, is it a turn and not a full turn? Definitely profit taking. I mean, that trend line has been broken for a while. Now, Bitcoin is in a place where it's only accepted it's going to go up.
Right.
Okay. That's usually that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crowded trade, and it's starting to feel like it. Just on that action. But let's see when the 20 closes underneath, and then or the death cross.
50 below the 20? 50 below the
50
200?
below the 200.
Yeah.
We won't have that. We'll have to look at a cash.
Yeah, we'll have to
But
look at that. So shout out to the bullet traders. I want to go back to this trade for a second in cattle. Again, this is probably one of the best trades of the day. Just like, yeah, you're not going to hear many people talk about it. Coach Hoop is going to talk about it every time he gets on TopstepTV. But the trade was short from 27,500, stop above the high of the session. So on the first candle close, second, if you're looking at a 1 minute, candle close outside the range, VWAP leaves the range. This is my entry. Stop goes above the high. That is a $400 risk, which again can be pretty expensive, right? Depending on the Topstep account that you're trading. But is it worth it taking the risk in a place where it's shown high potential to make this type of move? or have you risked $400 in the Nasdaq, thinking you know what's going to happen when it looks like this? Nice trade. Nice trade. Anything else you got, Coach Paul, before we wrap?
No,
Take
just
us
the
out of here.
final. Plan your trade, trade your plan. And we'll get at it again tomorrow.
Plan your trade, trade your plan, keep a cattle chart up on the side screen just in case it presents a trade opportunity. That is not financial advice. We're just telling jokes here. But seriously, that is a market that is presenting opportunity, as many of the markets are. We don't suggest trading all 36 of them. You got to narrow in at some point. But some good opportunity out there. Shout out to the traders that are taking advantage of it. We got Coach Hoop doing a class in Discord, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Then after that, Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern times. Dakota with Slow Markets at 8:30 Eastern. I'll be on with him tonight. Then we got Aaron with the London Open, 2:30 a.m. Eastern time. D with the London trade, 4:30 a.m. Eastern. And then we're back for the opening call tomorrow, 8:15. I will see you all then. Trade well, manage your risk, and have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. No, we didn't. But there you go. Hit that like button.